पावर्ड बाय Ebix कैश, हर खुशी के लिए काफी है।
को पावर्ड बाय SEL टाइगर TMT रीबार, इन दीवारों में टाइगर रहता है।
हायर रिटर्न्स का आश्वासन देने वाले विज्ञापनों या प्रचार करने वालों से बचें। NSE, एक कदम सही, 100 गुना सुरक्षा।
SEL टाइगर TMT रीबार में ताकत बेमिसाल और इसका एडवांस्ड रिप टेक्नोलॉजी रखे सीमेंट से बॉन्ड सालों साल। इसे कहते हैं बॉन्ड, टाइगर बॉन्ड। इन दीवारों में टाइगर रहता है। SEL टाइगर TMT रीबार।
Delivery Limited now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of Rs 462 to Rs 487 per equity share. Offer opens on Wednesday, May 11, 2022. Offer closes on Friday, May 13, 2022. For risk factors and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated April 30, 2022, which is available on the websites of SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges.
Prudent Corporate Advisory Services Limited, an independent retail wealth management services group in India and among the top mutual fund distributors by average assets under management and commission received, is now making a public issue of equity shares of 5 rupees each. The 100% book-built offer being offered in a price band of 595 to 630 rupees opens on May 10th and closes on May 12th, 2022. For risk factors and more details, refer to the red herring prospectus.
662
तेरी चाल है कमाल, खेलो सुपी सुपी सुपी, 662 लगे रहो, खेलो सुपी सुपी सुपी, जीत की फेवर में बहो, खेलो सुपी सुपी सुपी, सारा इंडिया खेलेगा सुपी सुपी सुपी।
खेलो लूडो और मजेदार गेम्स, जीतो इनाम। डाउनलोड फ्रॉम zupi.com। इस गेम में वित्तीय जोखिम शामिल है और इसकी लत लग सकती है। कृपया जिम्मेदारी से और अपने जोखिम पर खेलें।
कल आज और कल में, देश के हर पल में, कल आज और कल में, देश के हर पल। कभी परछाई बनके, कभी विश्वास बनके, दिल में साहस का एहसास बनके, उम्मीदों को सच्चाई के रंग से सजाते हैं, मुश्किलें कोई हरदम साथ निभाते हैं। कल आज और कल में रहते हैं, देश के हर पल में रहते हैं।
1956 से आज तक LIC हर पल आपके साथ।
पापा के जर्म्स, दादी दादू के जर्म्स,
मम्मी
जब साबुन एक तो उसमें जर्म्स अनेक, इसीलिए अब से सबके लिए अलग अलग साबुन। गोदरेज प्रोटेक्ट मैजिक हैंड वॉश, खोलो घोलो तैयार। इसके हर बूंद में है नया साबुन जो दे दमदार जर्म प्रोटेक्शन। सिर्फ 15 रुपए का रिफिल चले 30 दिनों तक। गोदरेज प्रोटेक्ट मैजिक हैंड वॉश, हर बूंद में नया साबुन।
Delivery Limited now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of Rs 462 to Rs 487 per equity share. Offer opens on Wednesday, May 11, 2022. Offer closes on Friday, May 13, 2022. For risk factors and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated April 30, 2022, which is available on the websites of SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. And yes, the markets are actually seeing heavy selling. You can see Nifty that is down over 2% as we speak. It's fallen below the 15,900 mark for the first time since March 8th. You have Nifty Bank that is actually seeing accelerated selling as well. You have IndusInd Bank that is down about 5%. You have Adani Ports, Axis Bank, Bajaj Auto. These are some of the names that have actually fallen the most in the last 15 minutes. But let's get going with the queries that we have been piling up on our social media platform as well as on WhatsApp. So let's bring on board our experts. We have Kunal Bothra as well as Sharmila Joshi, both of them joining us. Good afternoon, good morning, Sharmila, and good morning to you once again, Kunal. Sharmila, before I get with the queries, how is the market looking like to you? Is there any scope of looking at safe havens? What are the safe bets that you can see in this markets currently?
Well, the way markets have been, and as you were just discussing, that Nifty has come below 50,900. What I'm trying to say is that even if you're a long-term investor, which I am, and I would be wanting to buy shares and keep them for 3 years, 5 years, that kind of an horizon, even then I would obviously like to buy cheaper. So while markets were, earlier we had a market that used to come to 16,500 and then it used to sort of pull back to higher levels. So, you wanted to buy. So the first round of buying happened when the market came down to that 16,500 kind of level. But now that we've gone below 16,000, I think even if you're a long-term investor, it sort of suggests itself that you should probably space out your buying and don't be in a hurry to really buy any stock, because obviously even if you're a long-term investor, you would like to buy cheaper. For me, the safe havens in this market would obviously be stocks like Pharma or anything that is really export oriented. So even IT, and even those spaces are correcting. So it really stands to reason that you be a little patient and not buy immediately. Just wait and see where this market is taking you, and keep your list ready, of course. And there are a whole host of stocks there, not just from the sectors that I mentioned, but even I think other good mid-cap names which have corrected really out of turn in this correction. So we need to wait and see where this thing is taking us and then take a call.
Sharmila, an extension then to the previous question. This is coming in from Krishna, and we didn't have enough time yesterday, so I pushed it today. He says that he's got about 10 lakh to invest in the equity markets right now, and he wants to hold for the long term. I take your point. You should be a little patient and not deploy and wait for the dust to settle. As things are shaking, it seems like it's an earthquake right now. But at the same time, you said that you have a list of stocks that you would like to recommend. Let's talk about some of them.
Yeah, sure. So I think first of all, if you have an amount like 10 lakhs, don't invest all of it together. Probably break it up into 2 or 3 bits. So maybe 3 bits of 3 lakhs each or something like that. Then I'm assuming that you don't have any equity at all. So it would therefore stand to reason. And I'm again assuming that you have a fairly decent risk appetite. So you want to have some sort of large cap stocks and some mid cap stocks, because the beta return of a portfolio always comes from the mid cap play. So for the large cap, I would probably buy 1 or 2 good banking names, maybe an HDFC Bank, maybe an ICICI Bank, 1 or 2 good pharma names, maybe a Sun Pharma or maybe a Dr. Reddy. Then maybe a couple of IT good names like maybe an HCL Tech or a TCS, stocks like that. And then for the remaining, I would look at mid-cap. In mid-cap, again, I would have a mix of some. How I would position at this point in time, given where I see the markets as well as the economy over the next couple of years. So I would definitely have a chemical play, because the China Plus One story to my mind will play out. So I do like a Deepak Nitrite, it is correcting. You could look at that. Amy Organics is another stock that I like, so that you could look at that. And definitely look at a mid-cap IT, because I think mid-cap IT has given fairly decent returns over the last 4 or 5 years. The whole host of stocks to pick from here, Persistent System would be one. I do like LTI, it is correcting, with this because of its merger with Mindtree and in different results. That could be another. Then I think look at some new age stocks. I like MapMy India for one within that space. A lot of these stocks have corrected, so you could pick and choose there. Be a little careful, but now that the stocks have corrected, look at that. So what I'm trying to say is that you have a good basket of about 8 or 10 stocks, but buy now, then wait, then buy again if the market moves lower. Buy again then, and buy in 3 tranches.
So that's the strategy that you can adopt in this given this market condition. And yes, Sharmila has given a list of stocks that one can look at from pharma, from mid-cap IT space, as well as from the specialty chemical space as well. But let's get going with all the queries that's been piling up. And let me take this one from Soumitra. He had written to us a couple of days ago, and he's asking about Abbott India. He wants a fundamental view on Abbott India. Sharmila, he's saying that he believes that the competition is eating into their businesses. So he's wondering, how does Abbott India look for the longer term? Does it make sense to remain invested if you've already bought into this counter? And if you're looking at it, does it make sense to look at it?
Well, if you have it, I would suggest keep it. This is, after all, one of those MNC names, and over a period of time, they do reward you. But I think, what recent data seems to suggest is that Indian Pharma has done a sort of a catch-up. And they are doing well for themselves. They have sort of upped their game in that sense. So if you haven't bought Abbott India, it might make sense to look at an Indian pharma company. I think quite a lot of companies are doing fairly well over there, and they also have a sizable sort of export basket. For instance, I do believe Biocon is among the largest insulin exporters that we have. They're sort of big globally. So, that could be a play. I did mention Sun Pharma earlier. That could be a play. So, I think there are a whole host of interesting names out there. I'm just talking of two, but, there really are a lot more that you could look at. And, then it, I think, makes sort of sense to even buy that. But definitely, I think if you have Abbott, I think continue to hold it.
One of our viewers, Shravan, is slightly misunderstood what you had spoken about, Kunal, on the RSIs. If I'm not mistaken, what you had pointed out is that quite a few of these stocks have entered single-digit RSI, and therefore if you have cash to deploy for the long term, you can consider looking at investing in a few of these stocks. It's not a strong recommendation because these can correct even further, but this is a good opportunity. What he's asking is, with metal index slumping lower, Kunal has said it's not advisable to enter stocks like Hindalco and IRCTC at current levels, but to look for some bounce. Please, could you provide bounce levels in stocks like Tata Steel, Jindal Steel, IRCTC for fresh entry?
So I think the best way to look out for, and I'll give a more of a broader answer, Alex, because going into detail, for each individual stocks would consume a lot of time. But then the better strategies, as I said earlier, is that even if the RSIs are oversold, so what you have to do is you have to make a list of stocks which are into deep oversold territories, and the ones try and filter them further with, which have been the quality stocks or the ones which have performed, exceedingly well in the last, 2-3 years. So, we try and arrive at a certain set of a basket. So some of the names which I elucidated towards, for example, Bajaj Finance, Hindalco, these are top quality names when we're talking of Voltas also in that extent. Now, when you look out for bounces in these category of stocks, you wait out for these stocks to make at least a 2-day swing high. It could be, after maybe a series of maybe another few days of correction that these stocks can get into a bounce, or it could be immediate in effect where these stocks may, assumingly today's low stands out to be a very important support and these stocks manage to take support and don't break, today's low, then there could be a bounce, for these stocks. But don't buy just in the anticipation that these stocks are available very cheap. Wait out for the stocks to make a 2-day swing high. That could be a first indication that the market tilt has now shifted, and we are now looking at these stocks providing some good support levels for itself. And that's the first base of demand which we arrive into the stock price. So I believe that's a much better strategy. And that's what I was trying to indicate, that with lower RSI levels, you have to try and filter out the stocks and then wait for a 2-day bounce to try and take positions.
Right. This one is coming from Shrikar Reddy, and he wants to know whether it's the right time to buy Praj Industries at current market price for the longer term. Sharmila, what's your take? Do you think this price is right to buy Praj for the long term?
I think so. Once again, the earlier advice would hold that try and buy it in a staggered manner. But yes, I think given the fact that where crude prices are, and we are now really looking at the ethanol bit very seriously, the government is also talking about it. So Praj Industry, of course, provides the engineering solutions for not just for ethanol blending, but also a whole host of other solutions. And they sort of they even have a global presence. So this is in fact a stock that I like, and it has corrected quite a bit. So yes, I think this now seems to be at a good level. But once again, I think the earlier caveat I would like to repeat that buy it on this.
Another question coming your way, Sharmila. You spoke about the pharma sector. This one's coming in from Tejal. She's writing in from Bengaluru. And she's got 50 shares of Zydus Cadila, which she bought at levels of 484, and RT Drugs, which she bought at 884. These are both something that she's bought with a 1 to 2 year perspective. But she's asking whether she should hold on at this juncture.
This is Zydus Life, right, that we are talking on?
Cadila.
I can't...
Yeah, I'm
I
just
think
pulling.
it's now...
Yeah, it's now Zydus Life, yeah.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, so I think, looking at where the stock is at and the valuations it's trading at, it seems very decent. So yes, I think definitely you can hold on to Zydus Life. And the other stock I think we were talking of was, which was RT.
Yes.
RT Drugs.
That's right.
Yes, I think once again this is a very decent stock to keep holding. So I think yes, stay invested in both.
Okay, this one is from Nataraj and Ramesh. He's saying that he's holding about 230 shares of United Spirits at the price of 860 rupees per share. He wants a long-term time horizon for a view for at least 2 years, both on technicals and fundamentals. But let me come to you on this one, Kunal. 2 years time frame. How does United Spirits look to you?
So I think looks very attractive because it's a stock which had which has been one quality stock from the entire brewery space, and just very recently, I think mid of 2021 or so, is where the stock had provided a breakout on the upside. When you look at the relative charts for United Spirits as compared to the other stocks from the other peers from the same sector, then the stock has been an underperformer in the last 2 years. But then the degree of price uptrend for United Spirits is much more stronger and sturdier as compared to rest of the other packs, which are very, very high volatile and high beta kind of a stock. So given the market construct where we are, I think it makes a lot of sense to try and stay invested. I would suggest a buy or a hold on United Spirits depending on your buy price.
All right. Another question coming your way, Sharmila. This is on the fundamentals. We're talking about the tyre space, not a sector that we've spoken about very often in the recent past, evidently because the other ones have been more requiring our attention. But we've got a question from Dikshita. She's asking about Goodyear tyres, and she's asking on the fundamental basis, can it be entered at the current level?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't get into a tyre stock at this point in time because, I think that there are certain constraints in the auto industry to do with the whole microchip issue, etc., which is semiconductor issue, which is really taking its own time to sort out. Which is why, car sales, etc., have been just sort of, they're not really showing any growth because there isn't enough, there aren't enough cars though they're getting. The booking is there, they're not being able to deliver. That said, I think that way the stock is decent. So if you are a fairly long-term investor and you don't mind holding on, because this will take time. You will have to see the entire cycle turning in favor of auto and more cars getting sold and etc. And then you will see the pass-through to companies like tyre stocks. So I would be a little circumspect, but maybe you can buy on dips, and then if you're a long-term investor, stay invested.
Okay, this is from Mr. Bhandari, and he wants a view on CDSL from you, Kunal. He's saying that he's already holding some shares from the level of 1,354 rupees per share. What should he do with CDSL?
I think it's a hold from a long-term play, but I would not suggest an averaging at current levels. I would suggest to wait out for at least another 2-3 weeks because my sense is that the stock could probably try and correct and even break the 1,000-odd mark for itself. So wait out for maybe another couple of weeks, and if the stock comes below the 1,000 mark, that's where I think you should assess and try and take positions or look to average out further.
Kunal, this one's for you. NIIT Limited. This is a question coming from RK Ahuja. He's asking, where do you see the support here? Because it's corrected very sharply in the recent past.
So, it's the second straight month of correction for NIIT Limited from a stock which was at 650, 660. It's now corrected towards 450, more or less in line with how the entire IT space and IT services space has done. But I still believe that with the last 2 years of very strong uptrend, I remember I think NIIT Limited was a stock which was at I think 85, 86 levels. From there it had jumped up to 600, 650, and now it's just corrected 200 rupees. So ideally the correction should be more steeper into these kind of names even going forward. So I would probably expect the stock to even go below the sub 400 mark. That could be a good level where you could look to start averaging it out.
All right, this one is coming from Shiva Bharat and he wants a view on PI Industries for the long term. Do you like this one, Sharmila? How does this one look to you for the longer term, PI Industries?
Oh yes, I think this is a stock that I do like, and perhaps in that sense, the current the approaching, because this is an agrochemical sort of a stock, so this kind of a stock will do reasonably well with the monsoon round the corner. Again, I think from a valuation perspective, it's probably sort of fairly valued. It's not exactly cheap, so you can try and look to buy it on dips. But yes, it's a good stock, and I think you can definitely consider investing in this.
All right. Thank you so much, both Sharmila as well as Kunal, for joining in and for giving us your perspective. It's a bit of a tough day for the equity markets and for investors. All of our viewers tuning in, if they've got positions, they're losing ground. But the insight that you provide is very valuable. We have come off the low point of the day, just very marginally. So if you can pull up the Nifty 50, we're at about 50,865 at this juncture. And we've come off very slightly. We were lower by over 2%, but now we're down about 1.8% or thereabouts. We have to slip into a very short break, but on the other side, we are talking about the markets in a lot more detail, so do stay tuned.
You must not fall prey to fraudsters sending you emails or SMSs, luring you to invest in stocks and securities if they promise huge profits. Be careful while executing power of attorney. Specify all the rights that the broker can exercise and the time frame for which the power of attorney is valid.
NSE द्वारा निवेशकों के हित में जारी।
SEL टाइगर TMT रीबार में ताकत बेमिसाल और इसका एडवांस्ड रिप टेक्नोलॉजी रखे सीमेंट से बॉन्ड सालों साल। इसे कहते हैं बॉन्ड, टाइगर बॉन्ड। इन दीवारों में टाइगर रहता है। SEL टाइगर TMT रीबार।
Delivery Limited now proposes an initial public offer of equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of Rs 462 to Rs 487 per equity share. Offer opens on Wednesday, May 11, 2022. Offer closes on Friday, May 13, 2022. For risk factors and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus dated April 30, 2022, which is available on the websites of SEBI, the BRLMs and the stock exchanges.
जब चीते फव्वारे मेरे दिल को छू जाए, it's awesome, I feel alive, and it feels awesome.
जिंदा दिल ताजगी सिंथ और लाइम और कूल के साथ Alive is awesome.